Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review The Hunger Games, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is the prequel to the Hunger Games series from director Francis Lawrence from the novel written by Suzanne Collins. And this film focuses on Tom Blythe's Coriolanus Snow, President Snow from the original series, 60 some odd years earlier at the 10th Hunger Games, who he's a top student, really trying to make the money so he could take care of his family, including his cousin, played by Hunter Schafer of Euphoria fame. And he's put into this situation where he now has to mentor one of these tributes to be able to get the money to go to university that he's hoping for. He gets paired with Lucy Gray Baird, played by Rachel Zegler, and their journey ensues, and this tells the tale of how Coriolanus Snow broke bad. This film is told in 3 parts, in 3 very specific acts. And overall, I think one of the biggest things that this film could have used was a bit of tightening to make it a little bit leaner. There's definitely sequences that feel like they're overstretched and elongated, especially the second act of the film that really shows the Hunger Games aspect of it. And I feel like there's some logic issues that are injected into the story to keep the narrative going and to open up other possibilities for them to inject certain ideas and plot threads. I think that the third act gets a bit jumbled and clunky in terms of especially Snow's motivations and what he's trying to do. And overall, I feel like this film could have been tighter and leaner and a little bit smoother in what it was trying to say and portray about its characters. I think it's a great concept going back to like these early days of the Hunger Games and showing how it's evolved, and also seeing how President Snow got to the place that he was. I think Blythe gets a fine performance. It's not something that I would like write home about or really go out of my way to praise, but I think he does a fine job. And the tricky thing is trying to fill the shoes of Donald Sutherland, who is so fantastic as President Snow. But outside of an interesting Southern accent, I think Rachel Zegler really is the shining light of this film, with a very joyous and layered and complicated performance, also showing off her pipes, which add a lot of depth and meaning to the story in terms of these connections. I feel like there's some really strong supporting turns from Viola Davis as Dr. Gall, who's like the evil scientist, maniacal game designer. You have Peter Dinklage, who portrays the man who created the Hunger Games in the first place, Dean Highbottom. And especially towards the end, he has a really great scene where he really shows off his acting chops. And that's why you get veterans like this. And Jason Schwartzman, who plays Lucky Flickerman, who's the ancestor of Caesar Flickerman, Stanley Tucci's character. And Jason Schwartzman just has so much fun with this. I feel like this film is well directed and intense. It definitely has the tension and the suspense that Francis Lawrence brought to the other Hunger Games films that he worked on. I think this particular film struggles from trying to do too much while also stretching out certain aspects of the story that didn't need to be stretching out or to expand it upon, but leveraged to do what it needed to do. I do think overall this is an interesting arc that you get to witness on screen. I think Zegler adds a lot to the proceedings here, and this is overall when the actual action of the film is very intense and brutal, and it does a lot with its themes and ideas of classism, wealth, and obviously like this fascism idea of this Pan-Am government going on here. And overall, I think this is a pretty solid and fitting prequel that's overall decently satisfying for the Hunger Games franchise, and I think it'll do just fine. But those are my thoughts on The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in to one of your Wasteland reviewer.